How's that? Can you hear me with that? Great. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Heather Grondin. I'm the Vice President of Communications and Stakeholder Relations for the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority. Before we begin our formal program today, I have a few administrative details to review. This morning's introductory project meeting is anticipated to conclude prior to noon this morning. I would ask that you set any mobile devices to vibrate to ensure that other participants are not disturbed during the presentation. The meeting will include a presentation which will be made available on both WDBridge.com and mercs.com within a week in both English and French. When you signed in today, you were provided with a list of companies who registered to attend today's session. The purpose of this morning's session is to provide you with an overview of the scope of the request qualifications for the Gordie Howe International Bridge. Should you have any questions coming out of this session, please follow the request for information process detailed in the request for qualifications. The question and answer period will not be included in today's session. Many of you in attendance have also registered to participate in the Industry Day occurring this afternoon. That's occurring in this room as well. Please visit the registration table on the first floor prior to the 1 p.m. start time of that meeting to pick up your list of all the companies registered for that session and to be given your table assignment. For those of you who are attending the Industry Day this afternoon, your name tag will have been color-coded with stickers. Green indicates a potential respondent to the RFQ. Red indicates a subcontractor or a company looking to partner with a larger company. Blue is for staff, and yellow indicates observers. This information will be reviewed again before the afternoon session. With that, I would like to introduce Michael Patillo, President and CEO of the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, to begin today's introductory project meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Good morning, everyone. What a wonderful room, what a wonderful venue, and what a wonderful project that we have. On behalf of the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, I want to thank each of you for your interest in the new Gordie Howe International Bridge. I have to tell you that I'm extremely excited. That was a change from yesterday. Yesterday I was just excited. Today I'm extremely excited to see such a strong local, national, and international interest in our request for qualifications and in our project in general. On July 20th, the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority issued the request for qualifications, kicking off a two-stage procurement process, which will ultimately lead to the selection of a private sector partner to join us in the design, the construction, the maintenance, and the operation of the new Gordie Howe International Bridge, and as some have called it, the beautiful project. The Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority began operations just over a year ago, and much has been accomplished over the past 12 months, and I dare say a lot of that accomplishment is also attributed to our number of our partners, including MDOT, FHWA, Transport Canada, and a number of others. The release of the request for qualifications is perhaps the most significant milestone in our short history. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the many years of work that led to this point. Work that was done by Canada, the United States, Michigan, and Ontario in concluding the environmental studies and the preparatory work required before we could start the procurement and ultimately the construction of the project. The Gordie Howe International Bridge project is the largest infrastructure project on the Canada-US border, and arguably it's one of the largest infrastructure projects in North America. I would also add it's probably one of the most complex ones. But it's more than just that. The Gordie Howe International Bridge is the first new international bridge being built between Canada and the United States in many years. The project represents a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for you to be part of an endeavor that will benefit Ontario, Michigan, Canada, and the United States. Once completed and during its many years of operation, the Gordie Howe International Bridge will be an iconic symbol of the friendship and partnership between both countries. This afternoon, many of you will also have the opportunity to meet with local, regional, and national contractors, suppliers, and service providers. I urge you to take advantage of this afternoon's networking session so you can witness firsthand the enthusiasm to work on the project and learn about the level of expertise that local companies can in fact provide for this project. Finally, I'd like to thank a couple of organizations, including the Heavy Construction Association of Windsor, the Windsor Construction Association, the Detroit Regional Chamber, and the Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation Association for partnering with us on the Industry Day. Their cooperation sends a strong signal that this region's business are ready to partner and to work with you on this exciting project. Again, thank you for your interest, thank you for attending, and look forward to an excellent balance of the morning and afternoon.
Thank you. I've now called forward A.D. Doctoroff. Mr. Doctoroff is the point person for the Governor's Office on this project.
Good evening, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I want to bring our greetings from the Governor and his administration. This is a beautiful day. It's an incredible opportunity for us to get together. And this project is something on which Michigan and Canada have been working for several years. And we look at today as an important milestone. It follows yesterday's event in Windsor where there were hundreds of folks participating, and today, of course, is a continuation of that. So we're very gratified by this turnout and participation. And as Mike said, we strongly encourage everyone in this room to meet afterward during the Industry Day sessions with the local and the regional companies. The entities and the folks you're going to be meeting with this afternoon, again, as Mike said, bring significant experience and value to the private sector companies that will be bidding on this project. So again, the Governor and his administration, thank you for your participation. We look forward to your having a productive and rewarding day. Thank you all.
I now ask Leslie Martin to come forward. Leslie Martin is the Executive Vice President of Engineering and Operations with the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, and Leslie will be delivering the presentation for today.
Okay, thank you, Heather. I welcome you all to the city of Detroit this morning. I look forward to delivering today's presentation on behalf of the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority. The presentation, as you see, is divided into three sections. We have an introduction of the project and some of the history. Then we'll focus on the particular features of the project, and then we'll talk about the procurement process, and in particular the request for qualifications that was issued on July 20th. Just a few points on today's meeting. Attendance at today's meeting is not a mandatory requirement for potential proponents. And there's a list of attendees that is being prepared and can be provided after the meeting to those that are interested. You have to make the request via the contact person in the RFQ, and the list will be shared with you. No information from the meeting may be relied upon unless set out in a subsequent addendum. So most of this is not new information, but it's an elaboration of what's in the RFQ. A little bit about the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority. The Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority was created in 2012, and then the Board of Directors and the CEO, Mr. Michael Cotillo, was appointed in August of 2014, and since that time the organization's ramped up now to over 40 people, and a number of activities have happened over the past year. The Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority is a not-for-profit Canadian Crown corporation with a mandate to oversee and manage the procurement process for the design, construction, financing, operations and maintenance of the new bridge between Windsor and Detroit through a public-private partnership. The Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority will also oversee and manage the construction and operation of the new crossing, and the authority will also set and collect tolls. The Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority is led by Mike Tillow and the board of directors. There's also another authority I should mention, is the International Authority, which is a joint Canada-Michigan governance entity established to oversee and approve key steps in the P3 procurement process. The International Authority is also responsible for monitoring compliance of the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority with the crossing agreement that was signed between Canada and the state of Michigan. The Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority is working with a number of partners and stakeholders to bring this project to fruition. Some of the key ones in particular, Transport Canada and other government departments in Ottawa, the U.S. Federal Highways Administration, the Michigan Department of Transportation, and then some of the key stakeholders that will be involved in the operation, the Canada Border Services Agency, Canadian Food Inspection Agency. On the Detroit side of the river, we have the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, the U.S. General Services Administration, as well as the cities of Windsor and Detroit that are involved in the project. The Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority have engaged a number of key advisors and consultants over the past year to participate and prepare for the launch of the P3 procurement process. Some of the key firms include Parsons, working here from Southfield as a general engineering consultant. Then we also have Deloitte as the financial and transaction advisor. We have Blair Franklin as the capital markets advisor, Faskins, a law firm, as the P3 legal advisor, and we also have P1 Consulting as the fairness monitor to oversee the process. And this morning in the room somewhere we have Oliver Grant representing P1 Consulting. In addition, we are also taking advantage of the public sector procurement expertise and best practices provided by the Public Works and Government Services Canada, and we have a couple of representatives today from that organisation. About the Gordie Howe International Bridge project. Due to the significance of this trade corridor, the Border Transportation Partnership that was comprised of the U.S. Federal Highways Administration, the Michigan DOT, Transport Canada, and the Ontario Ministry of Transportation committed as far back as 2000 to providing an end-to-end border transportation solution and to provide additional publicly owned border crossing capacity to serve southwest Ontario and southeast Michigan. As part of the Gordie Howe project, there's really four components. We have the main bridge itself, we have the Canadian port of entry, the US port of entry, and also a significant interchange and widening and reconstruction project on the Interstate I-75. Regarding the objectives of the overall project, the goal was to provide and is to provide a safe, efficient and secure end-to-end border crossing system connecting Highway 401 in Windsor with Interstate 75 in Detroit. With the provision of this project, there will be a number of regional transportation and mobility needs met as forecast in the plan. That involves providing new border crossing capacity to meet long-term travel demand for truck traffic and for passengers. It will also improve system connectivity and provide a free-flow solution from 401 to I-75 that will enhance the flow of people and goods. We'll also, with the new facilities on both sides at the ports of entry, will provide improved operations and processing capabilities at the border. And it will also provide a reasonable and secure crossing option. The project, as Andy Dockcroft had mentioned and Mike Tillett, is a key priority for both the Canadian and the US governments, as well as important for private sector shippers, carriers and manufacturers. The provision of this additional capacity right through the construction period as well as in the operations will stimulate long-term economic growth. Mike Catillo had mentioned the long history of the project, and it's just briefly touch on that as there has been a long process to get to where we are today, but the launch of this request for qualifications is a major milestone in the implementation of the project. Back in 2000, the Border Transportation Partnership was formed and started out with a transportation and traffic study for southeast Michigan, southwest Ontario. And then that was followed in 2002, 2003 with a detailed needs and feasibility study, which laid out a 30-year strategy to improve transportation in this area. In 2005, the Detroit River International Crossing project was launched, and that involved the environmental study and design work in support of a new crossing. And that met the requirements of the Ontario Environmental Assessment Act, the Canada Environmental Assessment Act, and also the US National Environmental Policy Act. This binational study concluded in 2008, and approval was granted on both sides of the border in 2009. And in fact, the Ontario government moved ahead in 2008 with what was known at that time as the Ontario Access Road, and that's a new freeway connecting 401 to the new Canadian Plaza. That project is now known as the Right Honourable Fairgrave Parkway, and just within the last month, the first 8 kilometres of that highway was opened. As the project moved from approvals towards implementation, there was a number of significant approvals and policy matters that were resolved. Including in that was a key piece of legislation, the Crossing Agreement. It was signed by Canada and Michigan in 2012, which enabled the building of the new publicly owned crossing. In 2013, the federal government in the US, the State Department, issued the presidential permit, and that provided the US federal government approval for the construction, connection, operation and maintenance of the new publicly owned bridge. And then in 2014, the US Coast Guard issued a permit for a new bridge crossing of what is one of the busiest, if not the busiest, water transportation facilities in North America. In 2012, we had the incorporation of the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority with the appointment of the Board of Directors in 2014. And as I mentioned earlier, the International Authority was also established in 2014. The International Authority recently, in the last year, approved that the commencement of property acquisition in southern Detroit in Del Rey community to provide for the U.S. port of entry. And also the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority moved ahead with the early works work on the project, which included assessment of utility relocation needs, property acquisition on both sides of the border, and some early construction projects, in particular on the Canadian side. All of the background and history on the Gordie Howe International Bridge can be found through our website, WDBA-APWD, and it has links to some of the earlier studies. The early works, we issued a contract in early June, and we've just about completed the evaluation and award process, and hope to start construction within a month on the Canadian Plaza. That involves building a perimeter access road so that we can close some of the existing roads, as well as moving utilities outside the plaza. And also we've moved forward and included advanced fill works for the future Canada Customs buildings. The reason for advancing this work is that there are overall schedule benefits to the delivery of the project and help us to meet the timeline. The Canadian port of entry, it covers an area of about 130 acres, and that provides for the buildings for the inbound border inspection for the passenger and commercial vehicles, as well as all of the toll collection will occur on the Canadian Plaza. There will also be provisions for maintenance facilities and parking. The bridge itself is a major, significant bridge. It will, in the earlier studies, there was options of a cable-stayed bridge or a suspension bridge, and we're proposing to carry forward into the RFP process both options. The bridge itself is a 6-lane bridge with a main span of 850 meters. Just to put it in perspective, if that is a cable-stayed bridge, it will be by far the longest span in North America and 7th in the world. If it's a suspension bridge, it's probably the 7th longest in North America and in probably the top 40 globally. So in itself, it is a significant part of the project. The overall length of the bridge, when you consider the approach bridges on both sides as well, is about 2.5 kilometers or 1.5 miles. The US port of entry has about 150 acres in Del Rey. That facility will include the provisions for the US border inspection facilities, for the primary and secondary inspection for the commercial traffic as well as the passengers. There are also other facilities on the site for non-intrusive inspection, for an excess enrollment, for parking for the staff that will provide the services in the facility. US Plaza, the port of entry, connects to I-75 with 4 connecting ramps. These are quite significant bridges in themselves, connecting to I-75. And to allow that connection to happen, we have to rebuild about 3 kilometers or 2 miles of the I-75. So there's 4 main interchanges affected. Crossing road bridges are rebuilt. There's 5 pedestrian bridges to be rebuilt, as well as those 4 ramps across the Norfolk Southern Railway. affect the expansion of I-75. There's an impact on the service roads on both sides of I-75. So there are a number of local road improvements that stem from that. A lot of detail on the facility components can be found in section 2.6 of the RFQ. Now if I touch on some of the commercial aspects of the project. The project features the equipment, services, life cycle and maintenance, and toll infrastructure and toll collection. Again, more details on these and additional requirements of a private sector partner, or project code as we refer to it, can be found in section 3.5 of the RFQ. The facilities that I just discussed will also accommodate the installation and use of specific equipment for the border agencies, and that will be supplied by the agencies and installed by the project code. The provision of services will be required. That will include snow and ice removal, building and site maintenance, cleaning of the facilities, waste management and security services, as well as the facility utilities and any of the connections required to that. The design, procurement, construction and installation, operation, maintenance and life cycle of the toll collection is also a major component of the work by the private sector. That will also include staffing for manual toll collection and the provision of cash management services, recording and delivering the transaction data to the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, and remission of the toll revenues to the Bridge Authority. The other aspect of managing the tolls is the public interface, and we'll be asking the project code to handle the customer service issues. Again, the key commercial terms can be found in section 3.6 of the RFQ. The project agreement that will govern the partnership, the public-private partnership, will commence at the end of construction at financial close, and that will be for a period of not less than 30 years. The RFP, when it is issued, will detail the payments to be made. A number of payments will be made during the construction phase, and there will be the payments during operation. The project agreement will also make allowance for deductions in payments that would otherwise be due to project code if there is non-performance in terms of adherence to the quality standards or the availability of the facilities. There are also a number of commercial terms that are not open to negotiation. They relate to the title of the property and the facilities, the assignment of change of control. There are also specific provisions on Buy America and Buy Canada for materials, and there are other crossing agreement requirements. There are also U.S. federal aid eligibility requirements, and there are other U.S. contracting requirements that you have to be aware of. Details concerning the crossing agreement are available on the web, and they're also in section 2.7 of the RFQ. Coming now to the procurement process, as Mike said at the beginning, this is the first stage of a two-stage procurement process, starting with the RFQ on July 20th. The request for proposal that will result in the selection of a private sector partner will commence after the announcement of the shortlisted proponents, and the anticipated date for that will be December of 2015. The proponents at that time will be asked to submit binding technical and financial proposals, including a fixed price and schedule. The process will be rigorous, fair, open and transparent. The RFQ is a public process and is open to all interested parties. The RFQ will qualify applicant teams based on your experience in designing, constructing, financing, operating and maintaining a project of this size and complexity. And the process will result in up to 3 respondents being invited to the request for proposal. The RFP will be more detailed, requiring the qualified respondents to submit proposals on how you propose to deliver the project. The process will also include collaborative meetings and the details of the RFP submission. The RFP will result in the selection of the preferred proponent. The form of the RFP submission will be described in the RFP and will address both the technical and financial aspects of the project. And it is anticipated that the RFP process will include an interim financial submission, a technical submission addressing the technical aspects of the project, and also a final financial submission. Information relating to the RFP process is in the RFP document under sections 4.10 to 4.13 of the RFQ. Regarding the RFQ timetable, there are key dates that the proponents should be aware of following today's introductory project meetings. September 18th is the last day for submitting requests permitting a person to be a member of more than one team. September 18th is also the last day for submitting requests for advanced rulings regarding eligibility and conflict of interest. And it's also the last day for submitting questions or requests for information. The September 28th will be the last day that the WDBA issues addenda prior to the RFQ closing on October 9th. The WDBA has reserved the right to hold interviews with some or all of the respondents, and that would occur after November 17th. The intent is to announce on or before December 15th the shortlisted proponents. The RFP, when it's issued, is anticipated to be in the market for approximately 8 months and culminate in the submission of your technical and financial proposals. The overall objective of the project is to have it open in 2020. So just to summarize the RFQ highlights, again, 3 teams will be shortlisted for the RFQ process to provide the design, build, finance, operate, and maintain the Gordie Howe International Bridge. There will be no honorarium for the RFQ. However, there will be a $5 million, and that's Canadian dollars, for the RFP, the unsuccessful teams responding to the RFP. The RFP is expected to have a bid security deposit in the amount of 5 million Canadian, and that will be required of the shortlisted proponents. The responsibilities of both WDBA and the project co, the private sector partner. As far as the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, the WDBA is the project authority for the delivery of the entire project and is responsible for directing all project activities, for hiring advisors, for flowing the funds to the project, and for working closely and collaboratively with the other partners and stakeholders in both Canada and the US. The WDBA will be the contracting entity with Project Co for the delivery and operation of the project. The general scope of Project Co's responsibilities are outlined in section 3.5 of the RFQ, and these responsibilities are subject to confirmation in the RFP and also will be laid out in detail fully in the project agreement. As an overview, Project Co will be responsible for all aspects of the design of the facility in compliance with the output specifications that will be included in the RFP and the project agreement. Project Co will also be responsible for obtaining all permits and approvals necessary for construction of the facility. That is excluding the permits and approvals which have been obtained by the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority or any of our partners. Project Co will also be responsible for the provision of utilities and other site services that have not already been completed and are required to support the facility, including any remaining works as required to connect the facility to the existing roads, services and utilities. Project Co is also responsible for compliance with applicable provisions of the crossing agreement. And as described in the chart, there's also an extract from the RFQ. Project Co is responsible for design, construction, finance, operations, maintenance and life cycle, maintenance, rehabilitation and handover requirements for the bridge, for the Canadian port of entry, including the tolling infrastructure, for the US and for the US port of entry. Project Co will also be responsible for design, construction and financing of the Michigan interchange. The Michigan interchange, however, will be operated and maintained, and the life cycle and maintenance and rehabilitation of the interchange will be undertaken by the Michigan Department of Transportation. Also of note, regarding the port of entries, the Canada Border Services Agencies will operate the Canadian port of entry, and the US Customs and Border Protection will operate the US port of entry. Those organizations will carry out their customs inspections and other border-related control functions. Project Co, as far as those facilities are concerned, will be responsible for the custodial functions and other building-related operations and maintenance. Your attention is drawn to several mandatory requirements in the RFQ. They're in section 6.3 of the RFQ, and they're regarding the necessary experience in design and construction of long-span bridges and experience on US interstate interchange projects, as well as having the financial capacity to undertake a project of this magnitude. In detailing your experience, we're asking you also to include information on the development and execution of community benefits plans and consultations, addressing environmental, economic, social, and other residential, occupational, and community impacts and concerns, with an emphasis on the outcomes of such plans. We're also asking that you include information regarding engagement with Indigenous peoples, addressing issues such as employment, outreach, community knowledge, history and culture. And we're also asking that you provide a narrative description of your past experience in securing resourcing, with a focus on, among other things, union agreements and any restrictions and market capacity and local capacity.
That concludes the formal session for this morning. As I mentioned earlier, if you registered for this afternoon's Industry Day, please visit the registration table on the first floor to pick up the list of attendees and to receive your table number. The Industry Day session will take place in this room, so for the next half hour we're going to do a slight reconfiguration. Your free to go grab lunch in one of the neighborhood restaurants and come back and see us anytime before going to set up your table. Again, should you have any questions following today's session, please follow the request for information process detailed in the request for qualifications. Also, should you choose to complete an evaluation survey of today's session, please pick one up at the registration table and hand it in there as well. Thank you for attending the introductory project meeting, and thank you for your interest in the Gordie Howe International Bridge project.